Setting up your Excel to do automatic math is going to be the best way to really do some goal setting when we talk about budgets and finances. So after we program in this first line here, we should be able to drag down the math and then really start looking at how your credit card works, what makes it go up, what makes it go down, how the interest is affected with it all. So we are going to make sure that our spreadsheet is set up for automatic math. So we are going to start by assuming we have an outstanding balance of 0. So I'm just going to type in 0 there. New purchases. Yesterday we decided we were going to spend $2,000 the first month that we got that credit card. And now we have to figure out the finance charge, the interest that that credit card company is going to charge you for having them spend $2,000. Your interest is always determined by your outstanding balance, not what you bought new that month, just on what you still owe from your previous months. So in order to do automatic math, you hit the equal sign. And now that means we're about to make it do a formula, some automatic calculations. Now, like I said, your interest is only determined by your outstanding balance. So we're gonna click on that 0. You're gonna hit Shift 8 to get the multiplication symbol. And now we need to figure out, what are we gonna multiply? You get your interest or your finance charge from your APR. That's 17% for my credit card at least. And that means annual percentage rate. So I'm gonna go over to my calculator. I'm gonna take that 17 and I'm gonna divide it by 12 because there are 12 months in 1 year. So every month you're gonna be paying about 1.41. Since that number is above 5, we're gonna round that to 1.42%, okay? But remember, in all of our math, whenever we use percents to actually find the numbers, we have to use that 1.4%, sorry, 1.42% as a decimal. And whenever we go from percent to decimal, we go to the left 2 spots. And if you need to, fill in for the 0. So in our spreadsheet, we're gonna use 0.0142 for that 17% APR because we divide it by 12 and then we moved it into a decimal. So now I'm gonna go back to my spreadsheet and I'm gonna put that in, 0.0142, and enter. That's the first part that we've done automatic math for. So I'm gonna click up again and I'm gonna go click on that little box. And notice your cursor should turn into a little crosshair. So when you click and drag it for the whole 2 years of the credit card, you should see a bunch of zeros in there. And if you click again and notice this top corner, it should be the same formula as you go down. It's just B10, B12, B15. And that's all it's changing, but all the math is the same. Okay. Now for your total credit card bill that you owe at the end of the month, we're gonna hit equals, so we do automatic math. And what you owe the credit card company is anything from last month plus anything you bought new this month plus any interest charges from your old outstanding balance. We're gonna hit enter. We're gonna scroll up. We're gonna once again go over to that box until it's a little crosshair, and then we're gonna copy that math all the way down for 2 years. Skip. So you spent $2,000 this month, and none of that money has come out of your bank account. The credit card company paid for the $2,000 of your purchases, and now you owe them the $2,000 instead. You don't have to pay them back the $2,000, but you do have a minimum payment you are required to send them every single month. And so we're gonna write equals, and it's gonna be a certain percentage of your total credit card bill. So it's equal to the bill, so we're gonna hit that 2,000, Shift 8. And yesterday in class, we were talking about a 5% minimum payment. I did a little more research, and actually, it's even lower than that. Most credit cards only require a 2% minimum payment. So we're gonna go down 2%. We need to make sure that's turned into a decimal. So there's the decimal spot, we're always at the end. And move it over 1, 2, fill in for the 0. We're gonna use 0.02. 0.02. You only owe $40 out of that $2,000 on your credit card bill. Your actual payment, now that is what's actually gonna get pulled out of your bank account. You must pay $40, but you're always allowed to pay more than the minimum. And if you're being smart with your credit cards, you should pay more than your minimum. So let's assume that you can pay $200, okay? That is your actual payment. Now we have to figure out what's your outstanding balance. What do you still owe the credit card company? I'm gonna hit equal. Your outstanding balance is gonna be what do you owe them? What's the total you owed? Minus what did you actually pay from your bank account? So we still owe them $1,800. I'm gonna click back on that, scroll over to that little square, and drag that math all the way down. Okay. Now it's set up for us to experiment what is going to happen to your credit card debt and how much you owe that credit card company as we still go through. Now, the most important thing is you still owe that credit card company $1,800. So at the start of the second month, you have to manually type in that $1,800 because that's how you start the month off. And notice, now we have an interest charge. Interest is only based on your outstanding balance. For month one, we didn't have an outstanding balance, so it was zero. But this month, we still owe the credit card company $1,800. So we do have a finance charge this time, which gets added to our total bill before we make any purchases. I want to see how long it's going to take just to pay off that $2,000 for month one. So I'm not going to make any purchases this month. So my total bill is this number here. Oh, I forgot to drag down the minimum payment math. Please go back over that little 40, scroll over there, and drag that math down so we know what the minimum payment is. Boom. You owe, even though you owe $1,825.56, you only have to pay the credit card company $36.51. Let's assume you can afford another $200 though. We'll make it happen. Boom. There's your new outstanding balance. I'm gonna go and type that number at the start of month 3. I'm gonna assume I bought nothing new. I still owe this amount of money. Let's assume another $200 payment. Boom, that's what I'm gonna owe. I still owe $1,448.64. Now in this fourth month, oops, one too many 4s, so I can scroll up and delete one of those, so now that matches. Let's assume that your car broke down maybe and you had to go to the car dealership. So I'm gonna have to spend $500 on my car. So I'm gonna put that on the credit card. And then you can keep on going. Make sure though for each month, you have to fill in what you owe from last month, what you bought new, and what your actual payment was. And after you have all of those lines filled in, make sure whatever you still owe that credit card company is what you start the next month with.